Today we're making an original recipe that we kind of have created over the weeks. We've been messing around with this. And we started with a sweet potato apple soup, but then we threw a gnocchi and it ended up being awesome. So we're going to take you through that and show you this recipe. Alright, so this is kind of what you're starting with. You got enough sweet potato to get you 6 cups of sweet potato diced, and enough apples to get you 3 cups of apples diced. And you do not have to cook these will cook down in the soup, so they don't have to be pre-cooked or anything. Also, all of this is peeled and cubed, so make sure you take the skins off or it will come out funky. I also want to be clear that you need 5 to 6 cups of the blended part, but you're going to add another 3 cups later on of cooked sweet potato. And we're just going to cheat today and use, see, we found this on clearance, some yams and syrup. Just make sure there's no fat or oil in this crap. And avoid, I mean, if you can avoid the syrup, if you can get them, they're hard to find. But sometimes when we have them ready to go, we just use regular yams and don't mess with that. But if you notice, we leave the syrup in there. So the sweet potato and apple's been all diced up. What were the measurements?
It was about 6 heaping cups of sweet potatoes and 3 regular sized apples.
And how long do you cook it down like this?
Until it is soft, ready to be blended, because this is pureed soup.
So 15, 20 minutes probably to get potatoes down.
About 20 minutes probably.
Okay. Alright, so if you're doing this from fresh, you would tell us about it.
You would just put the vegetable stock. We just use vegetable stock.
About 2 cups, right? You
Yeah.
drain the water and put the stock in.
Yeah.
Alright, and if you're doing it from frozen,
If
you
it's
rinse
frozen, sometimes we didn't treat these with lemon juice when we froze them, so they got that tangy, from the reaction it gets from cutting it. Sometimes it'll turn the black edges. So we had that on there, and if you just boil it in water, that'll wash off, and you won't have the taste.
And how long do you have to boil it? I mean, sorry, how long do you blend it?
Until it's blended.
So you don't have to go like 10 minutes with it or something?
No, it's just however long until it's blended.
And then it's ready to go? Or do you have to what do you season it with?
Oh, after that, then I add stuff when I put it back in the pot.
Okay, so you'll put it back in the pot. Okay, this is just the base for the pot.
Yeah, normally you put like half of a medium onion in there too, but we're not doing onions right now, so I skipped it.
Okay, got it. So here we are. It's been hot, and Lorelai cut up some sweet potato that was already cooked and put it in. In fact, we kind of cheated and used a can of yams, and we added the whole can diced up. Is there anything you want to add about that?
Nope, it's just a big can. It was a 40-ounce can.
Yeah, getting that clearance food.
That's right.
But we have done it plenty of times with regular sweet potatoes when we have them ready. Like we pre-cook sweet potatoes and
I was just rushed and didn't want to do it.
How many sweet potatoes, if you were to use a sweet potato, how many guesses in there?
Cups wise, I put about 3 cups of diced.
Okay, 3 cups of diced. Now the other thing we're going to add is gnocchi. And the deal with gnocchi is it's mostly potato, but if you're gluten-free, you'll steer clear of it, but they do have gluten-free versions, and they actually have some made of cauliflower and stuff like that at Aldi's.
It was really good.
It was really good. So, since we're going to talk about gnocchi, we're going to have to use our Italian voice for the rest of this. And we talk about the gnocchi, right?
I'm not.
No, you got to put the gnocchi in, and you get the gnocchi from, I can't even do it, from Aldi's, but it's very expensive. It's so much. It's so much money. So much lira. All right, that might be all because I think they're on euros now. So much euro. So much. It's like a 4 or 5 euro. It's so, it make, in the old country, that make us cry. We cry when we add the gnocchi. Alright, so we add the gnocchi once it starts to boil.
Oh, and I did add spices to this.
Oh, what's the spice you use?
Normally you use like half of a medium onion diced up, but because we're not on onion right now, taking a break from it, I did use some dehydrated, minced up dried onion. I used 2 tablespoons of it.
Any garlic?
I think it was a teaspoon of garlic salt and a teaspoon of garlic powder.
Okay, why don't we go through the menu?
And 1 teaspoon of ginger. And then I did add about 2.5 more cups of veggie broth to it. After I blended it and put it in, and then we added the diced sweet potatoes and the gnocchi, and that's what it should look like. That should be the consistency.
And how long you let this sit and let the flavors, how you say, fuse?
Oh,
You fuse the flavor.
about an hour, and it's good.
And the gnocchi still be good.
Oh, yeah,
It won't
the-
be all squishy.
No.
Squishy like a brain.
The gnocchi, yeah, you can keep this in the fridge for overnight. That's not a problem. It'll keep a couple days.
Alrighty. Ciao, Bella. So that be about it. The zuppa is done. Very hot. It goes boom like Vesuvius and splatter everywhere. Before you send me hate mail, I'm Italian, so I can do this. So you look at this zuppa. It's so good. It's so. Oh. I wish the Italian had a word for good, but I don't remember. I guess it's very good. Yeah, bene, but very bene. I don't know. I need to work on my all I do is talk stereotype accent. Now it's gone Russian. Wait a second. Alright, I'm ending this. I thought I lost the footage earlier and then found it and put it back in. So this is just an outtake, but my dog is really cute, so I'm leaving it in. So we're gonna film the dog while I explain this. So we took 6 cups of sweet potatoes that were diced and skinned, and apples. We had 3 cups.
It's 3 apples.
3 apples. Okay, so then
Sure on the measurement. It was just 3 apples.
what do we do at that point?
So then normally there's a half of a chopped onion in there too, but we're not doing onions, so we skipped it. You boil those, cover it up in a pan with water, and then boil them until they're super soft and ready to be blended into a puree. Then
So that's it to get
Yeah.
to the puree. How much water and stock do you put into that to get the?
I just cover it.
just to cover.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to cover it. You don't need very much water in the blender.
All right.
Just enough to make it blend basically into a puree. And then I usually cover it with stock. If they're raw, I cover it with stock, veggie stock, and cook it that way. Those were done in water, so I don't put any water in. I use stock in there, and it's like a cup, I think, is what I put in there.
So it doesn't take much.
Yeah,
It's
not
okay.
much, just enough to get it wet enough to blend.
But so you boil them in water and then you drain them, put them in the blender, and then add a cup or 2 of stock.
Yeah, and I just get rid of that water and dump it out.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for that missing step. I hope you guys enjoyed 2 minutes of this dog. Otherwise, she would love to live with any of you.